All right. So today I want to do something a little bit different. I want to learn about different breeders and different cultivars that maybe we've never heard of before, maybe you guys have never seen before. Give myself some ideas on what to grow next. Possibly talk about the seeds that I'm starting in there because I did start seeds the other day and a couple of them are already germinating. So that's very exciting, but I do have one task ahead of me, and that is, as if we couldn't get more crowded, we are in trim jail with the Chill Out OG by Mr. Grow It. And so far, things have been going pretty good. I trimmed for a little while last night, and I got this jar about halfway full. It's a pickle jar. So I hope it's decently airtight. My mason jars that I have are like, I feel like they're too big, but if this starts to become more than I realize, we are going to switch to the mason jars. I don't know if we'll do that on this stream or if we'll do it sometime in the future, but let's see if I can get the live up so I can see the chat and all you beautiful people hanging out. Tim Yak, good Saturday morning indeed. By the way, are there any scientists in the chat that can tell me why is cold coffee bad but iced coffee good? Doesn't make any fucking sense. Well, I guess lukewarm coffee. Old coffee, cold coffee. Valencia and yourself here so far. Hey, that's cool, man. Whoever wants to hang out, no one should feel obligated to come to my stream. All coffee is good coffee. Free coffee is good coffee is the rule that I usually go with. Cheap coffee, good coffee. My brother buys me coffee every once in a while, but do you guys want to learn about breeders first, or do you want to learn about specific genetics that we should be looking into for 2024? Because it's very early. You guys could get shipping figured out right now if you guys go shopping and be able to grow these strains for the outdoor season or grow for another indoor season if you guys would like. So let me know. I'm going to start trimming this up. I don't know if you guys want me to switch the angle so you guys can see the trimming better. That might actually be a pretty good idea. Lean this down a little bit. Doing this on the fly here real quick. That is better. Hide my leg there. Get my headphones in a comfortable spot, and we are trimming. I got a bunch of sugar leaves. I smoked some of those last night. That was a very, very good time. I'm looking for seeds in Michigan, or for Michigan summer. I need Newt's info. It's all a blur. So, specific strains for Michigan. I got a couple recommendations, if you don't mind. I got Green Crack is always good. White Widow turns out pretty well. I grew AK-47 outside. Go watch my, after this stream, go back and watch my Croptober vlogs from a couple years back, and I think I did one in 2023, but 2022 and 2023 Croptober, I'm pretty sure are really good sources for that, if I'm not mistaken. But most of those strains turned out pretty well. I had a cherry cookies that re-vegged when I put it outside, and then just got bud rot pretty bad. Basically, the entire thing molded. AK is on my list. Dude, AK, first strain I ever grew. And then I grew it again once I actually got a legitimate setup because I was like, I could grow it better. And then every time I've grown it since then, I've only grown it 3 times, I think. But every single time has been better and better. So, yeah, AK-47, Green Crack, White Widow, Lemon Kush would perform pretty well outdoors. But I've never grown it outdoors. That's just a speculation. But I love Lemon Kush. It's a very classic strain, but So if you want to go for... Let's see if I can actually look that up. Best... Let's see if there's a video for that. Best strains to grow outdoor from Michigan. Easiest strains to grow. Top 10 auto flowering. Most potent strains on Earth. Top 5 strains to grow outdoors. Thanks for the information so far. That's what I do, man. I try to share as much information as possible. People want to be here for it, they can be here for it. People who want to skip dodge, go right ahead. I'm not offended. When people ask me like social media advice, because I have people who like talk to me and they're like, how do you like handle it? Like, what do you go about it with? And my mission from the beginning is just pick something I'm passionate about, do what I do, document it, and put it out for people. Some people are going to fuck with you. Some people are not going to fuck with you. And that's just how it is. And some people are straight up going to hate. And guess what? The few people who do that, I don't seek out hating attention because we're not a fucking lolcow, which I've been watching a lot of content about, just because it's super interesting. But I do what I'm passionate about. I document it. I do it to the best of my ability. I try to be 100% transparent and just let people react how they react. And then I try to get better with better with live streaming more often. And then I'm also trying to get better with like editing my videos and putting them together and making them pleasant to watch, while at the same time trying to heed to YouTube's guidelines, which can be difficult doing what I am doing. But top 5 strains to grow outdoors. Let's give it a shot. Oh, it's fucking CLTV also.
Strains that we've grown outdoors.
I didn't even see that. Definitely go check him out.
So I don't know about you, but I've had different strains that seemingly do perform better outside. And, you know, I've had a couple that indoors were kind of so-so, but then outside they seem to be, you know, higher terpene production, higher overall production, of course, and just better plants, man. It seemed like natural lighting and less fuss did better on them.
Yeah, I mean, when we say like top 5 strains outdoors, is by no means in my order of strains. It's not like my top, the one end all be all. Like
the top 5 for 4B.
Yeah, like the ones that I know or have had my experience in throwing outside and being pest and mold resistant, being heavy yielders, being resistant to not only outdoors but Michigan outdoors, because like outdoor, anything west of the Mississippi, you're getting a longer season no matter how you cut that cake. And you know, you really have to pay attention to your genetics as always, but that's what I mean by my top 5 out.
Oh, by the way, he's sourced, he's based out of Muskegon, I believe. So this will be Michigan-based, Michigan bias, looking at outdoors.
Outdoor strains.
Once they actually get into it. So this will be very good information for you to
react. It kind of goes indoor and outdoor. An oldie but a goodie, pineapple chunk, R.I.P. From Advanced Feminized Seeds through Gorilla Seed Bank. We were working with them and happened to come across a genetic, and man, she delivered on all facets. Yield, she was pretty, she was, you know, set her and forget her. She took the brunt. She was a bad lady.
Oh, and better smoke outside, honestly.
Yeah.
That's a lot of what I was referring to, is that one was gassier, had a flavor that was more unique outdoors than it was inside.
Yeah, I personally think...
I haven't tried any pineapple strains yet, so pineapple chunk might be worth checking out.
Man, that thing...
A lot of people... I've heard negative things about Pineapple Express.
The pot.
For real.
In that year, I had some plants that did get affected with mold because of a season cut short, and that one
we had heavy rain.
Minuscule little spots. Chop, chop. I was done, and man, she still just shocked, man. And she always shucked.
Yeah, indoor, outdoor.
Outdoor. You know, and outdoor, your yields are just going to be bigger because your plants have more space to grow. So,
Yeah.
pineapple chunk would probably be up there for me. I would say another one that I've only been able to grow outdoors is kosher kush. Now, this was a genetic friended to me by my brother, and tried to bring her inside, and she didn't like it, unfortunately. So I don't have any experience growing her inside. I would just say that outside, every time she is just a stanky old little thing, and
I wouldn't say it wasn't the heaviest producer
No.
compared to the chunk, but
no,
that was closer to indoor.
And on top of that, man, you can't break apart a half a gram of this stuff without
As a
it
light
just
buzz for you. That could do
gluing your
with a lot
fingers
of
together.
things.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, so just great bud, you know.
Absolutely.
you could just have. So it could be that that's just the effect, like blanket is like it's not as intense as other strains, or it could have to do with the fact that you could have a tweaked, differently tuned endocannabinoid system than a lot of people do, or some people do. And for a lot of people, it could be the ticket. But again, that's a big reason why it's good that we have so many options and so many different strains with so many different genetic compositions and chemical compositions, is that for people like you, Pineapple Express might work for a lot of other people, but you just don't get it no matter how much you try, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Absolutely.
So especially, you know, you have the pineapple for your yielder and the kosher for your flavor.
Have you guys, anyone in the chat, have you guys ever had a
happy
strain that you just straight up
Another
hated?
pineapple that kind of meets
Like
in
you're
the
like,
middle
I will
that
never grow
enjoy
this strain
is,
again
pineapple train that
after
was old
trying
school
so many
initially.
times?
Everybody had that motherfucker from 2008 to 2008. I swear, like everybody, man. And it was always good. It had that nice flavor. It consistently had that kind of medi flavor everybody was looking for. But outdoors, man, I was really, really impressed. Like I said, if you would have done the Pepsi challenge with that, 2 blunts rolled together, you wouldn't even notice that was outdoor. It didn't have that gamey kind of so to speak flavor, that outdoor flavor. It was really terpy, produced very well, and that leaf to bud ratio with a plant like that normally is pretty leafy, but with it having the space to grow. And
Another thing with what he said, it kind of reminded me. I've heard it mentioned quite a few times that people like, oh, there's a certain gamey kind of taste. Like you can tell it's grown outdoors because it has a certain flavor to it. I don't remember ever having that personally. Is there anyone in the chat who could kind of describe that to me? Like, is it just a certain kind of funk? Is it like maybe like other plant pollen is getting on there and it tastes like a certain kind of thing? It was from a cookie store. My body doesn't do edibles well. Mild effect to weed over effect, which is dull. Fittables. Oh, I think you meant edibles. Do make smoking weed much better. I personally like smoking weed because I like the actual, like, action of smoking weed. I like the activity. I like the flavor. I feel like I get more of a personal connection to my plant when I do that rather than processing it into, like, even processing it into, like, hash. Like, it's cool, but it's not the same as smoking homegrown, like, just straight bud. But edibles I can totally get. Not everyone's going to jive with edibles. I have a love-hate relationship with it. Well, not really a love-hate relationship, but like I like it because it works, but not not like I'm going to be super passionate about making like the best edibles, the most potent edibles, or finding certain edibles that like bring the best effect or whatever. Like, I'm not gonna do a super big deep dive on edibles. Like, I'll make them, and I have made them in the past, and they're fun, but like it's not gonna be to the level of making craft cannabis for me. personally, because it's not something that I enjoy as much. Yeah, you can have that too. Thankfully, my taste buds work pretty well. They're not. They're definitely not the most bloodhound and narrowed down type thing.
Really expand and get real bushy, it did very well. So, and that was from Omanyana, and it was something like that.
I don't know how well you guys
with,
can see
with
in
a certain
there.
batch and plan and pheno that he got, it was
Yeah, it did
super
very
tasty.
well. That's Fido is everything
So-
too, especially with outdoors.
we're
is
doing
I've
good.
had
Everything's
Coach
looking
Fish's
good.
Baby, which
It
was
is super
only
dry
great.
in my bathroom where
And
I'm
that was a
drying
great
these,
producer, and it
so
was
they
a
did dry out
Filipino that
quite a
we had.
bit.
But
I cut
obviously,
them
that was more
down
ideal for the situation outside,
on
so it was able to
Wednesday,
perform
and
more
it's
with,
only
like,
Saturday, and
harsher
they're already
conditions,
super
so to
dry.
speak. Especially with you're getting beat up, where you had your plants, the wind is crazy.
Well,
So
yeah.
they were getting beat, and then the rain that came in was just like major storms hitting real hard, and those were like, that one had a little bit more issues compared to the pineapple chunk, but some of these strains, it's just amazing how much, stability and strength they have.
Yeah.
So what's next on your list here?
Well, I would say 4 and 5 for me. If we were going in some order, I think for me, pineapple chunk would be number 1.
Dude, I cheese out when I fucking eat edibles too. Like if I eat too many, you can tell because I'm not getting up, and I'm just smiling.
I didn't have any experience growing it, but I definitely agree with everything
Yeah.
Rob said and
Kind of meets in the middle.
appreciated smoking it.
Definitely appreciate you guys hanging out. By the way, are you like
kind of are at a draw, and
Are you guys like part of the 10% or whatever that watches me on TV, or are you guys watching me on like a laptop, desktop, or cell phone type thing? I've always been curious about that because when you do like the weekly analytic quiz thing, sometimes it'll be like, oh, how many people watched you on TV last week or in the past month? And it's always like 10, 12 to 15% are watching me on TV. Which I find kind of weird and also makes me super self-conscious. But I imagine that's more for like my videos and not my live streams, I feel like. But they don't really tell me that information.
and I mean, I guess a little bit of a dry. Let's say 4 would be whiteberry, and I grew one plant of this outside, and it was a nice little formed plant. It had some beautiful looking buds to it, not a whole lot of flavor, but
it was low
Word.
maintenance, so that one.
Respect, brother.
yeah, I mean, it just kind of got shadowed out by everything else. I recently was able to connect with the homie Craze, and we were able to shout out people on
Nothing
his-
wrong with
so
watching on the
check us out over
phone.
there. But
That's how I always
she
watch
was actually
content
able
creators,
to
just because
grow
it's super
the
convenient.
Whiteberry outdoor in Oregon, and man, that stuff.
How are
was
you
fucking
doing, Squirrel
tasty, and I
Master?
was so surprised, and man, the
You've been
buds
all
on
over
these
my
things
shit. I really
were
appreciate
just
you
fucking
hanging out
girthy
on the
to
channel
say
and
the
voting
least.
on all the stuff. And
Climate difference.
all the comments
and,
you've been leaving.
Probably taking care
Super
of it.
awesome.
Like at the time when you were growing that too, you had some fucking real nice flavors, so it was hard to
Well, and it was in
pick and choose.
She had a little bit bigger pot size. She ran the different roots, and
It was a shorter, stout, more plant. Like I've noticed a lot of those berry strains aren't the lanky, bigger ones compared to like a Kush or even with the chunk.
Well, I
that was a
mean-
hardier one, but it wasn't
Hell
necessarily
yeah, brother.
super wide. per
it's just
se.
different phenos, and same thing with the
Anyone have anything
Whiteberry,
super exciting going on today?
Craze's pheno. It was just so sticky, but man, it had a funk on it. I enjoyed
Big
smoking
weekend
every
plans
bit
or
of
just
that.
chilling
So
at
I was
home?
just really impressed, and that's kind of the awesome power of the grower community is like you're able to take different same genetics and grow them out and find that they're the same name, but they have different qualities, different phenos. So it's like that was a pleasure for me, and just showed that like, man, it can do really well outside, because she definitely killed it with that. And one I had similar to that, so number 5 for me would probably be THC Snow, which inside was fucking gorgeous, loaded with trichomes and
Yeah.
all of that, but just
That shit was like a snowball, man.
lackluster as far as smoke, you know.
Instagram.
For
Dude,
me.
I feel like the chill out
Instagram.
OG is kind of like a snowball too.
But I mean, you get a bag of that.
Like if you guys
I'd be disappointed
take a look at
looking
the
that.
pictures
I
that
know.
I took,
I mean,
I don't know if I
it's
actually put them on
easy to
Discord.
make, love
Real
it.
good.
But for me outside, I threw that bitch outside. Like, if you make it, you make it.
Hey man, that's
That ain't
big.
mine, but yeah, she made it, and man, she was
A
flexing.
new stove is a
outside.
big
Yeah.
deal.
She was doing her damn
That was
thing.
the one that you was that the one that you super cropped out there?
Yep.
With the, yeah. Back in the super cropping video, that's the one, and that motherfucker had.
Oh, hell yeah.
Literally, I remember Vinny was trimming that bitch. Just big.
Well,
as
I'm
hell.
glad you,
It was fucking
choose to
flexing.
donate
So
your time to me
All the big branches.
So,
and
I
hang
would
out
say,
and all that
you
good
know,
stuff.
Among those
And
5,
hey,
you
make
know,
trim
one
jail
obviously
more
is
enjoyable,
that
because
wrong,
who doesn't love that?
but none of those are gonna be ones I seek out. The kosher, she's kind of like, you know, the one
like
you
kosher
you
goods.
never what if could have, you know, but at the same time, I would say none of my indoor genetics are touching those really. You know, that's what I kind of sourced and thrived on for inside is like that choice top shelf craft
Artesian
cannabis.
fire.
But outdoors, sometimes you can find it. Like, especially with that whiteberry, man, if you could get, my mind goes, man, if you could get that same crazy pheno inside and just dial it in, man. But it may not be as good.
I didn't notice like
It may not be as
the
good.
biggest
the
jump
exact
from
point
doing the
of looking at
48
the
hours
video
of
and
light.
touch
Like there
it.
definitely was
Certain
a
strains do seem
difference
to do better outside, and it's
within
like,
the past
I
like
don't know how some
coup-
of my strains
like the
perform
last
outside.
couple
I know that
days,
Oregon Thai stick that I had did
but it
perform
wasn't like
outside, but it didn't
the
do good.
mind
Real
blowing
good smoke, though. Like, you couldn't even tell it
experience.
was outdoor. But at the
Like it
same
was just a
time,
lot more
you know,
milky. I feel like,
there's
and
a
it
lot
seemed a
other
lot
things that
more
come into play when
dense.
you're looking at not just quality, especially when you have more of a gorilla grow.
That's
grow
awesome.
Or something that's not right tight with you.
Smoking and
You have to
dabbing
deal
is
with,
also
a plant that may be
always a
more
good time. I might take a
susceptible
bong
to
rip of some of these sugar leaves.
So if you're
They're
not being able to get on top
super
of it,
dry.
make something that's low maintenance, that'll perform well, produce well, and that you can, I wouldn't say set and forget.
Like
that
to give you an
can
idea of
take
like what the
care
relative
100%
humidity is in my house,
does well
basically.
out there, and
It's
so,
like-
you know, I wouldn't put a frail
In between
or finicky strain outside.
Yeah,
25
so
and
growing,
35% somewhere in there.
That's why those
It's
strains
absolutely
that may be
disgusting.
fire inside that may be a little
Especially for
aren't on
drying
this
weed.
list. But that's why you have to know your genetics. You have to.
And I
be
almost
mindful
didn't
about
check on them
decisions as
yesterday,
far as growing
and they're
outdoor
almost
cannabis,
too dry today.
where it allows, and you know, go from
But-
there. So that would be.
I was sitting in there.
CLTV's
I was smoking a
top 5
pre-roll that
outdoor
my
strains
mother-in-law
to,
got me,
look out for or try to get a hold of if you're looking.
and I was just
to
like, well,
do
I'll
that.
check them out. I might as well. I'm
So
in
if you
here.
wanna see
There's
more
nothing else
videos
to
like
do.
this, click to the channel.
And then I
you wanna know
fucking
more
touched the
grow
bud and it
information,
just
check out
crunched, and I'm like,
44
oh my
for more
goodness.
in-depth, cannabis
Am I
growing
feeling
tips.
this right? And I checked a couple more times, and
And on that note,
sure enough,
stay lifted.
girl is ready. So this is the pheno number 3.
Red Bull gives you
Good morning, Ricky Bobby Williams.
With Spectrum's easy self-install kit,
Turn on the anniversary mix.
you can feel at home in minutes.
Dude, it knocked me out last night. I didn't want to get up out of bed. Like, sure, I was sore from work, and
You're not home until you're connected.
Coming up on
like I was sore from work, and sure, I was tired and all that stuff. But I feel like a lot of it had to do with the effect of this chill out OG. I mean, it lives up to his name. Every time I've smoked like a sample, and I have another fucking sample hanging up in there of like some bud that I could probably take down. That is almost definitely ready. But let's check out Way of Leaf.
Growing cannabis can be
I think we visited his channel before, but like I was saying, I didn't even have to smoke much, and it just took over my entire body and was like a couch lock thing, and it made me like realize that if this plant gets to its full potential through the curing phase in the next couple weeks here, I don't know what I'm basically gonna overdose on weed every time I take a hit, and it's fucking crazy. I like smoking keef with cough sugar leaves. It is the grower's treat. It is the secondary grower's bonus. I have no idea, but my samples and droppings that fell off before the main harvest always seem to have more of a fun buzz. I think it might be fun just because it's like a sneak peek, but that's just for me, because smoking the final product has always been the best experience. Objectively speaking, in my opinion. I think that the sneak peek that you get when you take a sample off at like week 7 or 6.5 or what have you, like when the buds are looking like they almost could be done. Call 911 because your weed is on fire. Yeah, I think it's just fun because it's like it's a sample and it's like, oh my god, this is what to expect when I have jars on jars on jars on jars. And like this much weed right here, this is probably close to an ounce. If I were to guesstimate. Or maybe a half ounce, I don't know. OG Kush Auto pre-flower, and also have lemon Thai vegan and 2 blueberry hun Grover. That's awesome, Ricky Bobby Williams. I have a blueberry growing. Have you grown blueberry genetics before? Because I want to know what I'm getting into. Like, is it really blueberry-like? OG Kush. What is the, like... I don't know. I was going to ask, like, what the blanket, like, generic Kush flavor is, but I feel like I have an idea, and it's just one of those things where you know, but you can't describe it. It's just Kush.
Tricky. It's definitely not hard to keep a cannabis plant alive, but anyone who's ever undertaken a
I've also
grow
never
from
grown any
start to
Thai
finish
genetics.
will tell you that getting good yields in terms of smokable flower can be very frustrating. This is because cannabis genetics are widely variable. While a strain might grow and flourish and produce loads of flower under warm, humid outdoor conditions, it might be totally useless in a cool, dry indoor setting. Other strains are sensitive to things like nutrient deposit in the soil, and some are highly susceptible to things like mold and insects. If you're a total beginner grower, we've selected 3 cannabis strains that are about as sturdy and reliable as you can get in terms of being low maintenance, resistant to mold and insects, and adaptable to a variety of climates.
Let's see if I
Also, for
recognize
direct
any of them.
access to growing experts and tips and techniques from one of the best cannabis growing communities online, check the link.
So when it comes to easy to grow, I'm going to try to guess and see if any of them are on the list, because I'm not looking at the list, and I'm not doing any previews, looking at the chapters or anything. Lemon Kush, AK-47, Green Crack, White Widow, super easy to grow. I'm trying to guess popular ones too. There's probably something cookies in here. Oh, Northern Lights maybe? And then there's probably another Kush other than lemon in here. First time growing blueberry? Dude, me too. How long is the flowering time? Is it like a 12-weeker,
in the
13-weeker?
description and join our free Cannabis Cultivators Facebook group.
Northern Lights is a good outdoor strain. I've never grown Northern Lights,
Blue
but
Dream is without
Blue
a
Dream,
doubt
baby!
one of the most popular
Let's
and
fucking
common
go!
strains
I
in the
fucking love
world.
that strain.
And for good reason. It's hardy, reliable, and super easy to grow both indoors and outdoors.
Let's get
with
fucking
great
hype.
yield of flower. Some might actually call it beginner's dream.
Heard
Get
that,
it?
Oxford. Hey, it's all good,
Blue
man.
Dream is a sativa dominant cross between blueberry and haze. Both of which
Okay,
are
so
strong,
this is a
hardy
blueberry
plants.
genetic that I
For
have grown
beginner
before.
indoor growers, Blue Dream is a
Technically.
top choice because it's not overly demanding for water and light. And as long
So
as
maybe
you
I
start
will
with
love
a good
blueberry.
organic potting soil, you should have no problems reaching a successful flowering stage. It's also a good choice because it's so easy to find. Blue Dream is in
It is
pretty much
everywhere.
every dispensary across the US, and seeds and clones are easy to find as well. Like any strain, Blue Dream will do
Everyone
better with
has a
some
different
simple
Blue
training
Dream.
techniques, which you can learn more about here. Regardless, whether you're setting up a single plant indoor grow in a city apartment, or you're planning on trying your luck outdoors, or even with hydroponics, Blue Dream is a simple, low-maintenance strain that will give you the best chance at ending up with some good, potent flower. If you're just starting out with your first grow, auto-flowering seeds are an excellent option that will spare you a lot of headaches and eliminate the need for expensive and time-consuming light setups. Auto-flowering cannabis strains are extremely beginner-friendly. even more so than
12
feminized
weeks,
or
that sounds
fast
about right.
version seeds.
Gelato,
Start to
baby.
produce flour completely on their own.
I've never grown
after about
gelato
3
either.
weeks of growth. So you
But
don't
it
need
is
to
super
worry about
popular.
setting up an automated light system or altering the plant's light schedule to 12 on, 12 off, 18 on, 6 off, and so on. Auto-flowering plants are also great for beginners because they only need a few weeks to grow. In fact, gelato auto-flowering seeds, which are available exclusively online from
Has anyone grown auto flowers outdoors? Because I've only grown a single auto flower and I grew it indoors. And it wasn't the best experience for a lot of reasons. But it did happen.
Homegrown Cannabis Co. are often ready for harvest just 8 weeks after sprouting. Autoflowers are also compact and rarely grow over 3 feet tall, making them great for a small indoor grow. Their only downside is that they can be a bit fragile. While some plants readily bounce back after physical stress or injury, or from wilting as a result of over or under watering, autoflowers don't always do so.
That's
Finding
also a
this
big
video
reason I like
helpful?
photos
If
because they're
like
so
and subscribe
fucking
below
forgiving.
For weekly video drops and growing tips and techniques from some of the most renowned cannabis cultivators.
Also,
in
if
the
you're having a
industry.
good time in the stream, leave a like too.
Last but not least is blackberry.
And also think
strain that's a
about
little
hitting that
harder to
share
find,
button.
but completely worth it as a beginner if you can get your hands on it. This is a strain that has
Definitely
evolved in
appreciate
harsh
that.
outdoor climates, so it's grown exceptionally durable and resistant to things like mold, pests, stress and injury, and inconsistent light and water. Blackberry doesn't need a whole lot of attention. As long as you keep it alive and healthy with good light and consistent watering,
Blackberry is one
you
I wanna
should
grow.
end up with some flowers starting to show after about 8 or 9 weeks.
That strain called Blackberry Moonrocks that unfortunately I was not able to grow from weedseedsexpress.com. I want to buy again. That's on my list. I want to buy it. I was given it for free, full disclosure. But that is one that I want to buy for sure. Also, their Granddaddy Purple seemed cool. And they had ice cream cake. They had their own ice cream cake. But their seeds sell at such a premium price that I feel like it might be more productive to get an ice cream cake from somebody else. Just cost effective wise. And if I like it, then maybe I will go back and buy from them.
It does need a lot of space though. It grows tall and sturdy, like its parent strain, Lemon Skunk. So if you're going to be operating out of a small indoor grow space, Blue Dream or Gelato Autoflower
I might
be
do
your
a
best
lemon
bet.
run where it's
All
just
in
all lemon
when you're growing
strains.
cannabis for your
I
first
think that would be a
time,
fun
there's
exercise.
always going to be a learning curve. No matter which strain you choose, you're not going to end up with the perfect crop and 25% yields on your first go round. With the right beginner-friendly strain, however, you can increase your chances of maintaining strong, healthy plants and producing a good yield of smokable flower. For more beginners' tips on how to grow cannabis, be sure to check out these videos. And of course, if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe right here to Way of Leaf. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
When I first sat down with Steven and tried his product,
My Blue Dream grew the tallest of all the plants I've tried in my backyard in the sun. That's interesting because in my experience, it's a pretty stout plant. It is a pretty stout plant, but you know what is way more stout? White Widow. A lankier strain that I really enjoyed was Grapefruit. That's one I want to get back into the rotation, one I want to get seeds for. These are your favorite breeders of 2024. This has been on my watch list for a minute because I do want to...
Pigeons 420 asking...
I do want to learn what the actual community is saying is their favorite strains. And I was going to watch this on my personal time, but I figured since we're doing this stream, it popped into my head, why not watch this and see what the community is saying are the best breeders from none other than Pigeons 420. So this is a video I want to get into, personally invested in, personally super interested in. And hopefully can give us some good ideas as to what, like, where to buy our genetics from. And one thing, like, when I was first starting, I was super paranoid about buying seeds online. Because I was like, well, I could just send out my money to somebody, hope that I'm getting genetics, and they could either send me, like, seeds that are not... it nearly hit the electric wires above it. Oh, your Blue Dream. That's fucking crazy, man. But what I was saying was, like, what if they sent me either something that just was not cannabis at all? What if they sent me CBD for the price of THC? Or what if they just didn't send me stuff at all? So I was super paranoid, not very trusting. I'm glad that I did end up going through with buying seeds online and not, like, trying to source them from local people. Because I feel like I did get a good bang for my buck, especially for the price of seeds and whatnot, and also being able to grow, like, at home. I feel like I made really good quality product. Even for my first couple grows, it was just really a great experience, and I'm glad it went really well and I didn't get scammed. I don't know about regular Blue Dream, but I have an old cut of the Santa Cruz cut of Blue Dream that stretches a decent amount. What makes it a Santa Cruz? What are the characteristics you'd be looking for that make it not a normal Blue Dream?
Who were the top breeders of 2024? And, well, you responded overwhelmingly. Actually, in fact, got about 2,000 views on this post, which might not sound like a lot, but it was probably one of my biggest posts on X ever. And there were a ton of comments with some wicked, talented breeders on the list. So, big or small, I wanted to highlight them because these were the top breeders of 2024 as picked by you on X. We're checking out Spider Farmer's newest 2024 G5000. This is a 480 watt dimmable, cost-effective, full-spectrum, high-yield commercial LED grow light, and is going to work great in a 4x4 space. Pushing 2.85 micromoles per joule, this is a fantastic grow light, even giving you smart app controls. So now with your phone, you can set program schedules, adjust brightness levels, and communicate between your lights. In fact, you can even simulate sunrise and sunset from the app. The app is now usable.
Does anyone do that, by the way? Does anyone have a light that has that feature and actually use it? And have you, like, is there, like, a big difference between that and normal lights? Because what I heard, when scientists have talked about it, they say that photosynthesis, it happens immediately after getting a source of light. So when that light turns on, it's turned on. The plant is turned on, the light's turned on. I was watching Pigeon 420 back in the day before the YouTube ban. Before the YouTube ban? What YouTube ban are you talking about? I don't believe his channel ever got, like, deleted. Or did your channel get deleted? Or your... But I was watching him back before he showed his face. For quite a while. Like, about a year. And then he ended up doing his face reveal. And YouTube went through slashing anything weed-based, and he fought and fought and fought to keep his stuff online. When he wasn't showing his face for 2 to 3 years. Yeah. Back when he was growing, what he had, Hollum's Hope. I don't believe he showed his face when he grew New Dog. When he did his Tit Pot, I also don't believe he was showing his face back then. Just some classic content that is, I believe, no longer even on YouTube. You can't, like, he deleted all that stuff. He didn't want to get hit with the ban hammer and all that good stuff. He didn't want to be shadow banned. He wanted to reach out to more people, and it worked out for him. I mean, he's at 109,000 subs right now, and he's been at that for quite a minute. I thought he was going to be at like 120,000 before 2025 or 2024. But here we are. But he's killing it. He's killing the game, absolutely. And I'm proud of him. Doing something that a lot of us want to do.
Series, allowing users to easily manage their lights via the app with their phone. Check out spider-farmer.com. Use promo code PIGEONS420.
And Octopop
Save a
via
few
his
dollars
stuff.
off at checkout
He
and help
has
support the
sponsors
show.
good for Pigeons 420. 100%. Living
And a
my
huge
dream,
shout
but
out
I'm
to
not living
AC
vicariously
Infinity for
through him.
sponsoring today's video. If you're looking for some high-tech quality equipment for your tent, check out acinfinity.com. Whether it's their clip-on fans, the Gen 2s, their air circulation systems, or their lights, check them out at acinfinity.com. Use promo code PIGEONS420. You're going to save a few dollars
His beverage
off
that
at checkout.
wasn't
You're going to help
sponsored.
support the show, and you're going to get yourself some quality equipment.
For
Also, a
sure.
huge shout out to Seedsman. If
Can't
you're
get
looking for some
sponsored by
quality
everybody, eh?
genetics from a quality place, check out Seedsman.
And
Use
that's
promo
just the
code
game. That's how it goes.
PIGEONS420.
I'm also
They're
keeping a
working
lot
with
of the
some
popcorn
best
seeds.
breeders in the game
Or
to
pop,
hook
not
you up
popcorn
with
seeds, the
quality
popcorn
genetics.
buds.
Check them out. Use promo
Just
code
because I want
PIGEONS420
to not
and
feel
thank them
lazy.
both
I
for
feel like a lot of the
sponsoring
time when I
today's
harvest,
video.
I
get
skip
started,
out
I
on a
wanna
lot of
remind
that
everybody
stuff.
that if you
And then
enjoy
I'm
these
like,
videos,
I
hit
want,
that like
I want
button,
more.
Throw a comment down below.
we're
and
running out
add
right
to
now.
The list. I'm gonna start at
we officially
the
ran
bottom
out.
and work my way to number 1. I took a
All right. So before we get into this, I'm gonna go get more stuff to chop down. But we're really getting through this jar, man. Look at all the progress we've made. We started like right here and moved our way on up. So we're absolutely killing it in the trim game. I'll be right back. Oh shit. I guess my light's super sensitive. Ugh. You want to go outside, Sage? We got a couple more branches here. Gonna start chipping away at them. By the way, I don't know if like Pigeons 420 or the other CLTV or not CLTV guys, but the from the stash guys watch my channel. But I was thinking once I hit F1 or F2 on my peanut butter breath wedding cake cross, if they would want to be sent testers, because I was thinking they would be the perfect people to send genetics out to have tested and get some free seeds and maybe do some content around it if they want to. But just test out the genetics for me and try to see what they can do with it and if they like it or not. I would greatly appreciate feedback. I don't know if they like watch my channel on a regular basis, and I definitely don't know if they watch my live streams, but I think it would be really cool to have them grow the genetic.
Take a look at each of these breeders to get an idea of what they offered, who they were, and what they had growing on. And let me tell you, I was not disappointed. So to start off this list, number
The first pheno of Blue Dream and the
Terpene
strongest.
Genetics.
Terpene,
now, I would love
baby.
to give you these websites for these genetics. However, YouTube does not like that. So instead,
No,
I'll
you'll get
give
your
you
channel
their
taken
Twitter
down.
handle, and you can go and find them to find out where to check out their supply.
You'll get your
Terpene
video
is
taken
at
down.
Terpene over on X. I encourage you to go and check him and all of these breeders out. Checking out Terpene.
I think it'll be a good cross, but
he
I've also
had
never
an
grown peanut butter breath
overwhelming
before, so
supply.
we'll see how
Over
that goes
11
first.
pages to choose from, and that was great.
I'm
to
hoping
see.
one
He
of the 4
specialized
seeds
in
that I'm
primarily regular
germinating are a male
beans,
plant.
And I saw some really nice genetics that I would probably try my hands on. Anything from the Couch Slumper, the Terp Slurper, or Royal Head Rush, I'm all over those. So shout out to number 6, Terp Fiend over on X. Number 5, Northern Coast Genetics, representing land races, heirloom, and modern genetics. This was
I don't know
a
if I've
breath
heard of
of
them.
fresh air to take a look at the overwhelming just selection of land races that they had growing on. On their website, they have an overwhelming supply of land races, everything from Purple Kush, Black Afghani, Panama Red, and many more. It was a breath of fresh air to see such an overwhelming supply of land races. They primarily
You've grown it once. Did you grow the
specialize in land races, as
F3s
mentioned,
or what?
hybrids.
Do you know what
and
generation?
Regular beans. If you head on over to their website, you will not be
I am really
disappointed.
excited.
Shout out North Coast Grown for their quality genetics and their passion to the cause of keeping land races alive.
Definitely a
Number
stretcher. Hey, that
4,
could be good.
Brothers Grimm.
I could use that to my
OG.
advantage,
These
100%.
genetics have been around for
Brothers
a very long time. Starting up in 1996, Brothers Grimm Genetics has given us some of the most iconic genetics that have graced our gardens. You may have heard of Cinderella 99,
Oh, yeah.
Apollo, and Princess Hayes. To just name a few.
Cinderella
of the
99
genetics
is
that
on my
they've
list. I have
blessed
a
us
Cinderella
with over the
99
years.
mug.
Brothers Grimm is now working with Trailer Park Boys to be the exclusive supplier of their genetics. Also, now available in Canada, which is pretty huge because Brothers Grimm has been around forever. I'm a huge fan, and I was absolutely ecstatic to see them added to this list. If you head on over to Brothers Grimm's website, you will not be disappointed on the mass selection that they have. Go support the group over there. They've been doing this for a very long time, and
buds are
let
like
me tell you,
almost
you won't be
overdried.
disappointed by
This-
their genetics. I have grown an array
This
of
is
theirs.
whack.
Particularly the Cinderella
Smells
99,
great the whole
by
time,
far
and
some of
Thug
my
Pug
top
peanut butter
genetics.
breath.
So shout
It
out
was Thug
Brothers
Pug.
Grimm,
Yeah, I got
number
Thug
4
Pug
on the list.
also. I
Number
think I have the
3, Speed Run
F
Genetics. I went over to their website and I
4?
checked out what they had growing
I would have
on,
to look at
and
the
let me tell you,
package.
I was
It's
not
either F3 or
disappointed.
4.
As mentioned, primarily specializing in autos, they have a great selection. Not to mention their website is laid out beautifully with like this automatic ticker of like the genetics going by. Beautiful. They had a few genetics that I had my eye on that I just would love to try. The Pound Cake, the God's Particle, and Sour Black Cherry Haze.
Pound Cake
The pictures
is
of them are so
one that I wanted
tantalizing
also.
and just look incredibly gorgeous that I can tell that they've got a passion
Basically
for what they've got
anything with the
going
name
on, and I
cake
can
in it,
tell that that's why they're
wanted.
number
There was a-
3 on the list. So if you have an up
There's a genetic that was I put in my shopping cart, and it's called Cake Bomb, and I think that would be really fun to do some crosses with too. And it looks super frosty if they're actually taking pictures of the genetic that it is, which I hope so. You know, I would hope that all genetic companies and seed banks are making sure that the pictures are actually the strain that they say, but there's no way to verify that at all. You just have to hope, which is, again, why I like seed banks / genetic companies that have the customer reviews at the bottom with the pictures, so that you can actually see like what you could potentially get, like with 99% certainty. Like, this is a seed I got that I popped with this name on it, so it's something that you could possibly get.
Opportunity to go check them out, hit them up, check out their autos, and let them know that we sent you, because they've got a passion about this, and I love talking weed. So shout out to Speed Run Genetics. Number
Speed Run.
2, we're talking Nectar Genetics. Now, I was trying
Interesting
to
name.
put this video together, and at the time of recording, I noticed that their X account had been deleted, and it is still not up. After recording this, taking a look, I was updated on X. MN Grown says that Nectar Beans has stepped away from X. So wish them nothing but the best, positivity, and good health.
Hope they're doing all right.
You can find them at Nectar Genetics on their website. I can't say the link for obvious reasons, but that's where you can find them. Nectar Genetics posted publicly that not only do they test their genetics before and after for HLVD, but they also post all of the results online when you're shopping for your genetics. HLVD is a conversation that has sparked up more in the last few years, but has become one that more people are talking about, and possibly for good
Is it
reason.
like a viral?
Well, Nectar Genetics are testing theirs against HLVD. They specialize in both regulars and fems. Their pricing is average. They've got a great website, and their Mount Caledon and AFJ7 are 2 genetics from their website that absolutely spoke to me, and I would love to just sink my teeth into them. And there's no doubt why they were chosen as number 2 for our top genetics of 2024, as chosen by X. So shout out Nectar Genetics. But number 1 top.
So he talked about preference there, and one thing that's like big for me to remember is I used to focus really hard on their preferences and what the cannabis influencers that I watch normally really like. And the reason for that is because a big thing for me is terpene profile when I'm looking at genetics. Terpene profile and growth structure are like the biggest things. So when I'm listening to them talk about their preferences, I want to know like whose preferences I can trust to put in my garden that I'm actually going to like who jives with the same stuff I do, and then be able to know like what I'm getting into if they're recommending something. Because for instance, Rob from CLTV, he likes super gassy strains, and I more lean towards the desserty, vanilla, cheesecakey, fruity type stuff. And there's nothing wrong with either. It's just a preference thing. But it is important when you're listening to people like me, Pigeons, CLTV, Mr. Canucks, and all these other influencers talk about like the strains they like. Just know what you jive with, because if you get a recommendation and it's just they like it and you won't like it, even though it's a good quality genetic, that's important to know. So that just kind of reminded me when he was talking about preference to make sure you understand what their preference actually is.
Breeder of 2024 as chosen by you, and that is Romulan Genetics.
Romulan.
At Irish Jake on X. And this is one that I'm very excited to shout out, because as per their website, they were established in 2017 and are veteran owned with honor and passion. When checking out their website, I was particularly impressed by the fact that they have a grow tips section with some quality
That's
tips,
always fun.
and they have great photos of all types of their genetics. They specialize in fems. I did see maybe 1 or 2 regular genetics. However, the Rom Scotty, Salty Pickle, Erie Maiden really spoke to me on their website. So you can almost count on me trying to find my way to get my hands on those. Romulan Genetics, it was no doubt that you were number 1 as chosen by the people over on X. Incredible website, incredible product.
Few good people to check out. Definitely check out Pigeons 420 if you've never heard of them.
The pictures
Go hit
just
that
speak
subscribe
1,000
button.
words, and it's obvious that not only are you you running with honor and passion. You are running with exquisite talent and incredible poise. So shout out to everyone at Romulan Genetics, absolutely killing it. That is number 1 on our list of top breeders for 2024. Did you enjoy this? Do you agree or do you disagree? I would love to hear from you in the comment section down below, because big or small, I want to include anyone that has you having a conversation. For some honorable mentions, there were also breeders mentioned such as Dark Horse, Ridgeline, Terp Frenzy, Jinx Proof, Sweet Seeds, Cascadia Seeds, and so many more. If you would like to participate in the conversation over on X, you can follow me at Pigeons420. You'll find a host of content over there that just has me speak in my mind. But until next time, I appreciate you guys watching. Much love. Stay medicated. We'll see you soon. Peace. Did you enjoy this clip? Well, if so, I got a brand new channel with all the highlights, all the talking points, and interviews. Plus, I talk a bunch of shit and so much more. Link down below. Check it out.
What's going on, guys? I hope you guys are well and warm, kicking it fly today, baby. Welcome to the studio. We've got a conversation in store for you today. If you guys are familiar with what I've got going on over on Instagram,
Best cannabis breeders. Back to the original search. Best breeders strain guide from Jared Cox. Let's see what he is recommending.
Your cultivation with the cream of the crop from Seedsman's in-house genetics. In today's exploration, we're reviewing 23 exceptional Seedsman strains, each bursting with unique cannabinoid and terpene profiles.
One thing right
so
away
let's dive
is
straight into the
his
best
microphone
feminized
is
and
pretty buzzy.
auto-flowering seeds that Seedsman has to offer. Number 1. Gelato 41BX is a back-crossed wonder that delights growers with high yields and mold
Gelato
resistance,
41
capable of
back
reaching over
cross.
6 feet tall outdoors. Its rich genetic makeup ensures a
Has anyone here
full-bodied aroma
grown
and taste,
gelato genetics?
headlined by creamy, chocolatey notes with a spicy background. Easy rider for that chilled gelato high. Number 2.
Because I have
Juicy
not.
Skittles Auto shines as a fruity, quick-flowering strain with buds that sparkle like diamonds, ready to harvest indoors in 56 to 63 days. It's a breeze to grow, producing dense nugs that envelop you in a wave of cerebral buzz, followed by relieving body calm. Sugar rush without the guilt. Number 3. Cali Critical Mass blends Critical Kush and Bubba's Gift into a high THC powerhouse, yielding handsomely in both indoor and outdoor settings. A nod to its skunk ancestry, its buds emanate an earthy,
I've also
lemony
never grown
scent,
any
and
Critical
the
Mass,
effects
even
are
though I see them
perfectly balanced
everywhere.
for a serene night in. Critically dank. Number 4. Alaskan Diesel Auto, a frosty concoction of candy fruit auto and diesel auto, is a hard hitter that completes its growth cycle in just 60 to 64 days, perfectly shaped for sea of green setups. Expect sweet diesel aromatics and a potent calming high that sets in smoothly. Rev up the chill engines. Number 5. Peyote Gorilla merges the strength of Gorilla Glue number 4 with Peyote Purple's zesty energy, creating a strain that's both bountiful and tranquilizing. Noted for its sour lemon and petrol notes, it provides an intense head high that evolves into a deeply soothing experience. Unleash the beastly buzz. Number 6. Strawberry Cheesecake Auto is a delightfully balanced strain.
Strawberry
yielding
cheesecake is
dense,
one I want.
resinous
Someone in my
buds with a
Discord always
complex
talks
skunk
about
and
it.
sweet fruit profile. Despite susceptibility to humidity, it's a prolific producer, offering uplifting yet relaxing effects, ideal for daytime snacking. A slice of heaven in every puff. Number 7. Banana Jealousy, new from Seedsman, unites banana cream, jealousy, and gelato 41, producing large plants that radiate tantalizing aromas of sweet banana mixed with skunk. Indoors or out, this exotic strain is a heavyweight, promising THC levels up to 28% for a euphoric and fruity journey. Go bananas. Number 8. Gelato G Auto mixes the lush flavors of gelato with an auto-flowering OG Kush twist, creating an auto strain that's rich in taste with a fast track to relaxation. Expect intense euphoria from this sticky, resinous cultivar with its delightful sweet citrus and earthy terpene profile. Sweet OG Dreams. Number 9.
I harvested a gelato a few weeks ago. Crazy foxtailing for some reason. Everyone said it was fire though. I'm glad. I'm glad people like it. Foxtailing, man, it can be a genetic mutation that just happens no matter what you do to it. But it can also be because of heat or light stress. So I don't know if you were exposing it to anything. Buds look like small cactuses. Interesting. Or cantuses? Interesting. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know what a cantus is, unless you meant cactus, in which case, fun. Okay. I figured. But you never know, man. Sometimes you learn something new. Look at how dry this is, by the way. I can just pull that back, and I don't even really have to actually trim it. That's how you know we're hitting like the over dry, close to over dry period, is when you can just pull this back and all the leaves just kind of snap off. I think the lack of humidity in that room just absolutely pulled all the moisture out of this plant. Like, it's still like there's moisture inside, but it's so dry on the outside that like it's ready, you know? It's ready to get burped every 12 hours. Even though it's only been like, what, a few days? Wow. Glenn Betch is out here blowing up my notifications. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 notifications from him liking and then him following my stuff. So if you're hanging out in here, hey, shout out to you.
White Widow fast takes the legendary
Sharing the
White
love.
Widow genes and speeds up the flowering time, while still delivering its famed frosty buds with woody scents.
White Widow
Ideal for
fast
growers in
would
a
be
hurry,
really fun.
This fast version strain
I love White
lavishes you
Widow
with
so
an
much.
immediate cerebral rush
I'm looking to
that
get
mellows into a
regular
comforting
seeds
calm.
of it so I can breed it.
Fast and
Same with
frosty.
Blue Dream
Number
and Green
10,
Crack if I
Gorilla
can.
Candy Auto is an 80% indica beauty that colors your garden with shades of blue and purple, bringing intense psychedelic joy and subsequent sedation. A quick grower with generous yields, its sweet earthy kush flavor is a lingering luxury for your senses.
Anything candy
shop
I
of
like.
Stony bliss. Number 11. Bubba Cheesecake fuses pre-98 Bubba Kush with cheesecake genetics to produce a strain with impressive yields, purple-blue tinted buds, and a sweet licorice twist. It renders a heavy indica, narcotic-like high with its potent THC levels, providing long-lasting tranquility. Intense indulgence included. Number 12. Alaskan Banana Berry Auto, new from Seedsman, merges Alaskan Purple and Strawberry Banana Punch Auto, yielding a resilient hybrid that adapts well to changing environments. The strain offers a bounty of earthy, fruity blooms and a potent, serene stone, boasting up to 24% THC. Fruity Serenity.
Yeah, now that I'm
and
just pulling these leaves
Number
back and they're
13.
just kind of snapping
Peyote
off.
Skittles, bred for its sweetness and
This is going
potency,
real
grows
fast.
buds that sport a tropical candy fragrance and deliver an uplifting and therapeutic
Is anyone else trimming
With a
anything right
staggering
now?
26 to 28% THC content, it guarantees a potent yield
Or at least
for a
drying
truly
stuff?
relaxed and joyful experience. Sweet euphoria delivered. Number 14. Northern Lights Auto is a fast-flowering, mold-resistant indica strain that stuns with its fruity pine flavor and impressively high THC content. Once mature, this strain captivates with a kaleidoscope of colors and provides an all-encompassing relaxation with every hit. Light up the northern sky.
I just noticed your trim scissors don't have a spring on it. Having a spring is helpful to the wrist after a few ounces. Just tagged you in a picture of my gelato bud. Good, I'll be glad to see it. So the reason this one doesn't have a spring in it is because these are bonsai shears. And these are super helpful, not only just like to cut clones off and all that good stuff, but they're also really nice for trimming your genetics. And then I also have these scissors, which do have a spring in them. And I got the bigger spring just to help with when the stuff gets sticky. It's got a little bit more pushback. But I did a video about this, and you can go back and look at my video log. I did a, I think it was specifically harvest tips, and I talked about these scissors specifically and why I use different kinds of scissors. And the reason I do is because the motion of pulling in to a spring and pushing open gives your hand different motions to do while you're trimming. So when you alternate, you can elongate how long you're trimming without it actually being painful. So I do have multiple different types of scissors, and I have springed ones that have straight blades, but I also have these ones that have a slight curve to them. And that's really nice for reaching places, getting in at a little bit of an angle. It actually has been really helpful when I'm trying to get into a tighter spot and like dodge part of the bud. I can just kind of get in there, twist it around a little bit, keep the important stuff. So that's been super nice. But yeah, I do have multiple different types of scissors. And if you want to see more harvest tips, you can go check out that video. I think it could be extremely helpful for people. And tag you in the picture of my gelato bud. Where did you tag me exactly? Like, on what social media am I looking for that on?
Number 15. Blue Dream Fast speeds up the iconic Blue Dreams cultivation experience, delivering bountiful, fast-maturing harvests with a delightful berry citrus twist. A cerebral and euphoric high awaits those who savor this strain's sativa dominance and notable THC levels. Sativa Serenity on the double. Number 16. Alaskan Purple Auto brings the best of its indica lineage with a rapid life cycle and fruit-sweet bouquet, offering solid yields in tight schedules. With a high that envelops you in relaxation, its effective THC levels ensure a deeply comforting experience. A fruity freeze of tranquility. Number 17. Black Sugar combines Black Domina, LAOG, and Critical for a fast-flowering, compact plant that pulls no punches in potency with its dense crystalline buds. The aroma bursts with a fruity sweetness that pairs well with its deeply relaxing effects, perfect for nighttime use. Sweet sedation
Black
served
Sugar
up fast.
sounds really
Number
awesome.
18. OG Kush Auto is a compact powerhouse with a potent cannabinoid profile, perfect for stress relief. Embodied in a small auto-flowering package that fits practically anywhere. It boasts a diverse olfactory spectrum from sour citrus to peppery punches, making it a favorite for flavor hunters. Petite yet potent. Number 19. Dr. Seedsman CBD is a marvel of breeding with a CBD to THC ratio of 30:1, providing therapeutic benefits without the psychoactive effects. It grows into compact and hardy
I do
plants,
want to
yielding plentiful
grow a
harvests
genetic that
with
has
delightful
a
pine
decent
and
amount of
ginger flavor
CBD in
profile.
it.
Your daily dose of wellness.
Dr.
No
Seedsman,
prescription needed.
I will
Number
definitely
20.
need that.
Amnesia Auto marries Amnesia Haze with Ruderalis to create a cerebral and psychedelic auto-flowering variant that won't fade from your memory. This sativa-dominant strain promises abundant harvests and a haze-like
This is crazy.
spiciness, delivering high THC-powered.
This jar is pretty much almost
Truly unforgettable.
as full as I want to get it.
Number 21.
For, drawing
Blueberry
this
is
stuff
an
in?
iconic 70s strain that
Look at
matures
that.
into a large, colorful
That's
plant
crazy.
with unmistakable sweet berry aromas and flavors, providing a calming, long-lasting euphoria. Its impressive yield and
Smells
long
very-
shelf life make it a timeless favorite for connoisseurs of fruity strains.
It's very
Berries
berry
bliss.
and very
Number
spicy.
22. Larry Lemon OG Auto is a tangy, indica-dominant autoflower with a citrusy.
It doesn't
profile
have a lot of
packs
that,
high THC punch.
It doesn't have a lot of the chlorophyll smell, but that could be due to the fact that it's over-dried, doesn't have a lot left. It's just very pleasant. Very pleasant. I love it.
Bringing on waves of euphoria and relaxation. A small but zesty contender, perfect for those who love a lemony lift in their day. When life gives you lemons, cross them to Auto OG. Number 23. The White OG is a trichome-rich treat offering high yields and high THC levels, singing with spicy, peppery, and lemon diesel notes. Born of 2 Cannabis Cup-winning OG Kush strains, it's potent, fast-flowering, and its high quickly blossoms into deep relaxation. Unleash the OG beast. So you've seen the strains, but what about the breeder? Seedsman stands tall in the realm of cannabis genetics, committed to the growth, preservation, and exploration of diverse strains. Founded in 2002 by 2 cousins, Seedsman quickly sprouted into an international network, connecting experts and breeders while championing the vast heritage of cannabis. Their unwavering dedication has positioned them at the forefront of the cannabis seed industry, offering a curated collection to seed collectors and aficionados around the
Seedsman
world.
is definitely kicking ass
With
in
a
the
diverse
industry.
seed catalog at its core, Seedsman caters to a myriad of preferences, from revered classics to the latest in genetic innovation, courtesy of their in-house breeders alongside over 100 different brands. As pioneers, Seedsman played a pivotal role in the commercialization of auto-flowering strains with Lowrider's entry into the market, echoing their focus on innovation and accessibility. Seedsman's ethos transcends mere sales, embracing a holistic approach to improving cultivation practices and emphasizing the significance of a seed-to-harvest relationship.
We got a good
Their
chunk done
charismatic appeal
again.
stretches globally, with logistic hubs such as the Seedsman
And this
USA
jar is just
store
looking absolutely
ensuring
phenomenal.
expedient
I don't know
and
how well you
efficient
guys
seed
can like
delivery.
see in there.
By
Trying to look
weaving
at
a
my screen
communal
at the same
tapestry that
time.
includes growers, enthusiasts, and scholars alike, Seedsman perpetuates its mission, fostering a
But
tight-knit family and community
absolutely
that
crazy. And
thrives
if we
on the
can,
shared passion for the cannabis.
if we can like harness the actual moisture that's inside the bud right now and get that to come out a little bit and have decently cured cannabis, even though it seems overdried right now, that would be very solid. I would be very happy about that. I did not know they minimized windows on the desktops. That's fucking crazy. Do we want to look into breeding tips? Do we want to learn about something else entirely? Where are you guys at? Do we want to listen to Creepcast or something just for some entertainment? How to find great genetics from the Stash podcast? I'm going to go get more branches. Let me know in the chat where you guys are at. Leave your suggestions of what to watch/listen to. And I will be right back. And if I could stop hitting this cord, that would be fantastic. Beep boop. Oh my fucking Christ, dude. How? How? I don't understand how that cord is so weak. Like, I barely even touched it and it came out. I need light. You want to go outside, please? Alright, I got some more sections of that plant. We are almost done with the Chill Out OG number 3. Let's see where you guys are at for video suggestions. I also got my paraphernalia, and I figured I'd take a rip with you guys at some point. But no ideas. I'm breaking up some Pure Michigan strain. Pure Michigan is one I've been wanting to get for sure. Being from Michigan, I think it would be really cool to have Pure Michigan. I was listening to the wow, my mind is blank. I was listening to this morning before I went on stream the Creepcast episode. They just dropped a new one. If I go into my history, I can just pull that up. Berries in the Window. If you guys haven't heard of these guys, never seen the Creepcast before, definitely check them out.
It's time to drive.
They basically read creepypasta and stuff, and it's a pretty entertaining show. It's Meat Canyon and Windigoon. So if you've had those guys, or if you've heard of those guys, you might like them. Just got put into battery saver mode, which means my laptop is not plugged in like I assumed it was, because it usually is. So we are going to plug this bitch in before it dies. It would have been super tragic if it died, if it just straight up died before getting into, or while I was getting plants.
Yeah, someone gave me like kind of a little rundown of it. I'm excited. Okay.
Let's get into it. Berries in the Window.
Let's get this
I want to
stuff
take
out
a
of the
quick
way.
moment to tell you about today's sponsor, Factor. It can be tough trying to eat better on a busy schedule.
Also,
deadlines to workouts
pack your stuff
to
up.
whatever you call this podcast. Especially when you're worried about portion sizes, counting calories, and eating.
We are going to
Thankfully, today's sponsor, Factor,
Detroit area, just
Factor
north
has
of
delicious,
8 Mile
ready-to-eat meals that
in
are
Warren.
delivered
We be
straight
chilling
to your
at.
door. And in just 2
Good
minutes, you
shit.
can
Fucking
feed,
8
eat,
Mile,
and
where
enjoy.
Eminem
Factor
came
has a
from.
variety of options, from Calorie Smart to keto to Protein Plus, or even vegan dishes. And if you like walking on the fancy side
Good
of life,
shit.
Factor
Fucking
now
love
has
Eminem.
gourmet plus meals, meaning that you can have ingredients
Cheers,
such as
everybody,
salmon,
to a
shrimp
harvest,
butter. They also have surf
to
and turf
new
options,
beginnings.
shrimp and filet mignon. With over 35 options to choose from each week.
Wow. To a harvest, new beginnings, and being able to have a plant that is just so beautiful, and finally legal. Cookie store 2 miles away that came in real handy during the pandemic. Fuck yeah, dude.
You're sure to find something you like. And every one of those meals is chef crafted and dietitian approved. And the best part about Factor is there's no prep work. You just get the meal, there's no standing in grocery lines.
That was extremely dry, an extremely dry hit, but hopefully it pays
So if you
off.
want to get in on this fantastic
There was a full-blown
head to
popcorn nug in there,
factor75.com or click
so
the link
hopefully
below.
that'll come
Use
through.
code 50CreepCast to get 50% off.
I'm already
plus free
feeling the
shipping on your
effects.
first Factor box. That is right. Code 50CreepCast at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping. What's not to love? Thank you so much to Factor for sponsoring the episode. It really does mean the most. And we are now back to the show.
That shit hits hard, man.
If you want to be a part of something cutting edge, something that is bigger than you, this is the organization for you.
YouTube
I'm
ads are
at the lane
crazy.
at the rim of a fountain. The water bellowed from the spigot in its ornate pattern. The fact it was running at all was a miracle for our underfunded university. It was just after my 8:45 class on early horror films.
Dude looks like a 20-year-old Ron Jeremy. I don't know who that is, but cool.
No better way to start.
Maybe
your
I'll look him
morning
up
than with
later.
A dissection of the infernal cauldron, I suppose. She sat on the edge of the courtyard fountain with her head buried in a textbook. Fresh brewed coffee from the commissary by her hip. Her hair draped to her collarbone and swayed in the passing breeze. I assumed she was a nursing major by the art on the front of her textbooks and the fact that she was always trapped in their pages. I assumed she had a keen mind Top of her class, even by the way she was constantly scribbling on her notepaper. I assumed she had a boyfriend waiting for her back home, but I was tired of assuming.
Love that dude. Love the incel vibe there. I bet she has a boyfriend. I doubt it.
You know, I was actually about to say, I would like, if you didn't speak, I was gonna say something about how sweet of a
Porn star from the 70s who is a long extended thing.
setup that is.
It's probably the mustache,
I assume
honestly.
she learned my
Every
lesson.
porn star back in the day
I
had that
assumed she had a
mustache.
boyfriend waiting for her back home. But I was tired of assuming. That's kind of a creepy line. Also, I want to say too, the horror class. That's actually true. In college, I had a class. It was a can't remember how they phrased it. I mean, it's like basically gay theory is what it was, like literally. But it was like the depictions of gay artists and media through vampire films and how like the 80s was all sprung up by the AIDS scare and that kind of. It was very interesting. I just want to say that's a real thing because I feel like there's gonna be a lot of people being like, "What? A horror class?" But it was cool. It was a good class.
I don't think, I'm trying to think if I had any cool classes in college, because I was science major, so all of my like electives I had to take were like biochemistry and like, you know, what was that one class called? It was like invertebrate anatomy, IVAP, like invertebrate anatomy and physiology. It was all like science stuff, right? So not a lot of fun classes. I remember hating molecular cellular biology and what's the one that killed me? Immunology. Oh my gosh, immunology sucked. So the only like gen eds I got to take that were cool were just like the very generic ones. So like art. Like I liked art because it was like art history and stuff. And a couple of my history classes were cool.
I enjoyed all my history classes. That was like the big thing I really enjoyed. There was this one teacher. I just liked her. I took one of her classes, and then the only other classes she taught after that was feminism. So I was in all of her feminism classes, but one of them was basically
that's simp behavior, by the way,
history in China, and I got to learn about like it was fucking insane, dude. Like Chinese feet binding, all that kind of shit, fucking crazy. So I enjoyed.
Have you guys heard of Chinese feet binding, by the way? Because it's one of the most unhinged fucking things I've ever heard of. It's definitely in the top 20. Somewhere in there. I hear a lot of fucked up shit. True crime shows. Addicted to them. Messed up customs and torture methods I was into back in the day. I was into learning about them. I found it interesting that people could do such horrible things to each other for the most, especially today, just the most mundane shit. Like a woman learning to do math and then being accused of being a witch and then burned at the stake type shit. I always found super fascinating how primitive people were, and still observing that same behavior today is just so interesting. Humans are just interesting creatures, man. I read the book Shogun, and they talked about the foot binding for princess type women in the Chinese and Asian world. It wasn't just that, though. It was a very popular custom, similar to the only thing I could really compare it to when it comes to Americans is bulimia. Sure, stars and movie types and famous people do it, but regular people do it too, just to try to live up to, I don't know, certain standards, or trying to fit into a certain demographic, and having body image issues to try to get some kind of perceived beauty. Pereuven head binding? What is that in short? Because I might not know the term, but I might have heard of it. You know what I mean?
In almost every history class I ever took, I thought those were sick.
I had some cool history ones. I remember taking stuff where we'd go over, we had one history class that was ancient world up to, I think, 1500 BC. So there's a lot of stuff about the code of Hammurabi and Egypt and stuff like that. And it was cool.
Did you go
about
Neolithic,
early
Paleolithic,
mythology,
all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, through all the periods and stuff like that. Talk about what was it, the Epic of Gilgamesh and stuff like that. It was pretty neat.
I also wanted to make a Venus of us, dude. You remember the Venuses? It's
they say head binding was to match people with real heads, but they were extended. Look up Peruvian history. Look up the head binding history of Peru. Didn't have a lock on it. So there is one Native American tradition that's kind of like, that sounds like head binding. Again, I don't really know what it is or the detail of it, but basically what they would do, since children's heads were like super soft, they would mold the body, like their head, in between two wedges, and they would tighten it a little bit every single day or every week or something to get the head to a certain shape so it looked like flat, and they were like known as like the flatheads or something. Flathead tribe. So they would do that to every single person, and I imagine that the actual like reason behind it was to look a certain way, have no one know why you look like that, just to look like a different species, and I imagine it would be to help with like battle, you know what I mean? And just getting to have an easily identifiable part of you that shows that you are undoubtedly part of the tribe, so that it's easier to identify who exactly is an enemy and who is on your side. I can't remember what they claimed the main reason for it was. If they saw it as a beauty thing or what. The rabbit hole goes deep on the head binding issue. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. And even like human mutilation from birth today is commonly practiced, and it's still disgusting, but people do it.
It's like
Venuses.
Because people are monsters.
There would be like these statues that they would call Venuses. But they're big, fat, thick women. You know what I mean? Because it's like, because if you were, you know, big back then, it's bountiful. You're healthy and whatever else.
Yeah, it was a privilege to be fat because
want
food
someone
was hard to come by.
Pregnant and all that. Yeah, I want someone to make one of me, dude. Someone make me a Venus, dude. That's what I want to be.
Yeah, I'd have a Venus made of me. I think that'd be
why not?
Can you imagine
Dude, I'm so high off of that one hit that it's not even funny right now.
All right. Well,
that is stupid.
You know what? Yeah, I wasn't gonna bring this up, but since you just made
It's
that
so
joke,
dumb how potent
do
this
you think
plant
maybe
is.
your relation of
I love
taking
it.
like a Chinese feminism class may have related to you just randomly telling me you're gonna murder a Japanese lady on a train? Do you think maybe there's some like?
I think it made me
connection between
open.
those two?
I think it made me open-minded enough to even have the thought.
Is that so? You have to be open-minded to murder a woman in cold blood.
I think you have to. I think you have to be open-minded enough to be able to want to ingest and adore someone's culture enough to visit their country,
and kill them.
Well, exactly, and go there and then indulge in whatever you have to in a blind rage because I blacked out.
Yeah,
an angel told me to do it.
Okay. So back to the story. I was gonna say it was weird because like I met my wife in college, right? And I remember for a while like just thinking like, oh, she's so far out of my league. Like there's no way I'm gonna have a chance. And then when I was stupid enough to try it,
dude, trim jail is one of the best and worst parts of growing.
About this opening paragraph where it was like she was topping for class. I figured she had a boyfriend, but I was tired of it.
Used to live used to live in a house in Warren and used to own a house in Packard. That's pretty cool, man.
Now where I'm an incel.
Those sculptures are some of the oldest found.
It's awesome.
From my history class, new stuff has been found, shared with the public. In the rabbit hole, we watched all the YouTube videos. That's pretty fun, man. I love going down like history rabbit holes and like conspiracy theory rabbit holes and stuff like that. I tried.
People you kill, you can't change.
I tried to watch the Ancient Alien show, and it was so stupid that I don't even know if I made it past the first episode. It was so fucking dumb. Like the conclusions that they were drawing, like they had to have been snorting copium while making that show. Because like one of the examples that the dude like brought up was these sculptures, and they assumed that they were supposed to be birds, right? They're like, oh, they were making sculptures of these birds, blah blah blah, and there's all these ones that kind of actually look like birds, like clay sculptures that look like birds, and then there's this one, and it's got different like attributes, and it looks a certain way. And, like, I think it's modeled after an aeroplane. But they didn't have airplanes back then because the Wright brothers invented airplanes. So what spacecraft were we dealing with? Aliens. And someone sucked at making a fucking clay bird. They were in a class or something. And they just happened to make a piece that lasted thousands of years. We got an episode and a half in of the Ancient Aliens. Also, it's just wild ideas and I supposes. Yeah, that's pretty much the vibe I got from it. Like, my theory about the fucking Egyptians, like my unironic theory about how they were living, was they were super advanced. And then something happened. Because, mind you, their actual thing lasted like 1,200 years or something like that. Or thousands of years. And we're getting like little bits of pieces of a large episode of history. A large epic of history. And the things you can come up with in a society over the period of thousands of years, they could have been extremely advanced and just understand measurements and stuff like that. And then something happened, maybe a great drought or something that just took out a whole ass ton of people. And it's very possible that a natural disaster happened, took out a lot of the greater minds in the society, and then all we had to pass down was word of mouth stories from a select group of people who could not keep the society together. But supposable were in the fifth or fourth generation. The Aztecs say all those large stone buildings were there before they even got to the area. I tend to believe that might be true. Global. It's very possible that it was a global thing. But I also believe that Europeans were so low on the totem pole when it went to technology in those days. Because we were fighting with swords and like flintlock pistols for a while, or flintlock weaponry, for a long time. And that was where we were at when we discovered America. So who's to say that... Now, this is just all speculation because I have very limited knowledge on all of this stuff, obviously. But who's to say that the Europeans were so disadvantaged to the Egyptians that we were extremely jealous, and over thousands and thousands of years we let this hate and jealousy accrue because humans are jealous people, and then come back thousands and thousands of years later and rewrite history because we won. You know what I mean? So we push this certain narrative, and a lot of people believe it, that stuff didn't just switch, because things in nature switch all of the time. They go back and forth, and Arctics and droughts, and Arctic periods and droughts, and mass extinction, and stuff like that. And stuff just gets switched up and shuffled around. So who's to say that we're not just simply in a period over the course of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, where we just so happen to be on top for a small period of time, and the next civilization's not going to take over because of, like, say, a global pandemic taking a lot of people out. But I feel like at this point, when I get to that thought in the stuff, it's like, when will you actually put your tinfoil hat on, buddy? Because that shit's fucking crazy. But thousands of years is an unimaginable amount of time for any human being, and that accumulated over time. Something happened. Was it aliens? I don't fucking think so. Solar flare stuff. Took out life once at least, I believe, anyway. That's interesting. But, yeah. there's all kinds of like conspiracy rabbit holes you can get down and like history knowledge and all this stuff, but I do believe that we're still super behind what the Egyptians were, which is why we can't replicate the perfection of the machinery, is just because they were so advanced minded that we are still behind them.
You like this, don't you?
They were just really fucking smart people.
Just, Alright, whatever. Perhaps it was the way the sun peeked over the clouds, or the water playing the perfect score in the background. Or it may have just been the pressure of summer's vacation's approach. Whatever it was, on that morning of May the 27th, Frame was absolute perfection. So I took the shot. I sat next to her and made some comment about the book she was reading that I couldn't possibly remember.
Man, this Chill Out OG
She
is
laughed
something
at me.
else. Holy shit.
Out of nervous...
Mr. Grohl was not fucking around when he made these plans.
But the laugh offered all the confidence I needed. We left that morning with the date planned, and then that date with another, and another, and another. She said yes 6 years later to the day. Took a trip to the large... Man, that's like how long... Is this going to make me sad? We took a trip to the largest...
In 10,000 years, everything we see around will be disappeared if you know humans ended. I don't know what to make of that comment. I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't know if it's because I'm too high or what you said just didn't click in my brain or something.
Off my
the way you said it.
her. She was elated. Her smile, her embrace, her scent. Every detail was just as I imagined.
Yeah, she shit herself.
How did you propose?
How did I propose? I took Allison to Fairbanks, Alaska, under the northern lights.
Did you actually?
I did.
I'll text her right now.
Go ahead, text her. I did it. That's what happened.
That's very romantic. That's actually incredibly thoughtful and sweet.
Oh, yeah. It was awesome.
Did she cry?
Yeah, I did for probably like 3 or 4 hours. I don't know. I think I can't remember where she was at. But yeah, no, I teared up. Did you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I had like a whole like little speech prepared and stuff. We were both crying.
Can you?
If humans stopped living here on Earth in 10,000 years, there will be no record of us being here on Earth except for smidgen of the dust in a layer on the side of a human mountain, sort of. I get what you're saying, but here's the thing too. All we know as far back is recorded history. Since like cavemen started writing on walls and stuff. Like actual record that humans and sentient beings were here. And even like the dinosaur periods lasted like what, millions of years each. So I think we're still really far off of our potential and what we're going to get to, but I'm also not a scientist that can predict these catastrophic events. But they're definitely something that could happen again. I'm not saying it's impossible that in 10,000 years something fucking goes nuts, because I have no idea. And guess what? I'm not going to fucking be here either. I'm going to be very dead. I'm just saying that these things take a long, long time. And the more I think about it, the more high I feel. So maybe I should stop. People be looking at Mount Rushmore like, who's that, honestly?
Do you remember it?
Who the fuck were these people?
I do remember.
They must have been pharaohs.
Actually.
Can you say it to me right now? And I'll pretend I'm Kayla.
What would your Kayla impression be like?
Well, once you start saying it, I'll start doing it.
Kayla?
Yeah.
So she sounds like Goofy.
That doesn't sound like Goofy.
That was a Goofy impression.
Okay.
That was 100% Goofy impression. Years ago, you asked me. I was waiting for you to do the impression again.
No.
I don't believe in reincarnation. I'm going to be honest about that. You can believe whatever you want. I personally don't believe reincarnation. I know there's a lot of theories behind it and all that stuff, but none of it's really, like, provable.
What would I ask you? Wait, what?
Okay.
Keep going.
Do you remember what you asked me?
Pass the ketchup.
Okay, now you're Patrick Star.
Indeed.
It's the same voice.
Anyway, the little like speech I gave or whatever is,
It was
like
a
when
very
we had
beautiful
started
thing.
dating, we had this whole conversation where she was talking about how like she used to pray for
Without beliefs,
she
there
was a
wouldn't
kid,
be
she used to pray for, like,
bro science.
A man to come into her life.
So
to
if you're a
make
man of bro
things better,
science,
not worse, blah, blah,
you got
blah,
belief
like
to
all
think.
this sappy stuff.
Mhm.
When I proposed, right before I got down on one knee, I said something to the effect of like, I think I'm that man, or I want to be that man, or something like that, and proposed. It was very sweet. Go ahead.
We were talking about the gamey outdoor
I was
taste
just listening.
earlier. I've never personally experienced everything. I've never really experienced that like gamey classic outdoor taste. Because everything I've grown outdoor just tastes like really well indoor grown weed. No bro science. Let's use straight facts, real science, and math for cannabis growing. And also, this branch full-blown snapped. I don't know if it'll do it again. Oh, it creased. It just full-blown snapped in my hand when I went to bend it towards the end. So these plants are definitely a little over-dried. But yeah, I like science-based stuff, and I don't have all the meters and everything, and I can't test everything in the world and all that shit. So like I'm just kind of guesstimating on a lot of shit where everything should be. But personally, when I can monitor a lot of this stuff, I'm going to try to record as much as possible. I'm going to monitor everything. I'm going to make sure that I'm doing it as scientifically as possible, because a lot of the bro science stuff, like I followed a little bit of it. If it seemed reasonable, I would do it. But there's a lot of like crazy theories that people have that just put behind their weed that like to make it feel better, that is so outlandish that there's a lot that I never got behind.
I was just waiting for you to have some snide remark.
But like Flushing is my number one example, where it's like it seemed legit. It seemed like that's something you would want to do with your plant. Like take it, make sure that there's not like extra nutrients or whatever inside the plant. It used up and it's depleted of all its stuff. And then it comes out in a scientific study that it has no difference in your plant. You're not losing yield, you're not losing terpenes, you're not losing any extra like nutrients or compound anything in there. That just comes down to how well you can dry it and how far you went into senescence, where it just naturally starts to do that. So yeah, that was one of the wild things that got debunked.
No, I
for
think
me.
it's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Can I go back to the story now?
Yep.
I managed to discover another frame as flawless as today I met her. From there, we made a beautiful film of our life together. She was a nurse at the lead.
I can't taste things so well. Outdoor weed is exotic as my nose works poorly. Or not exotic. It gets up high and that's my concern. Good buzz and that smoke smoothly.
Leading hospital in the area. The hours were grueling, but she felt rewarded by the lives she touched. I, while not making it in Hollywood, got contract videography work for advertisements and weddings that kept me busy enough. Then, 2 years after our wedding day, I opened her present to me on our anniversary.
Man.
In the box was a stick with 2 bold red
My
lines.
friends are gonna like this shit.
The film of our lives.
I'll tell you what.
Perfect frames.
Oh my goodness.
Then the baby was born. The harsh light from the hospital room.
I
nearly
feel like my
melted the
insides
creases
are
of
like
my
made
wife's
of
face
soup.
away. Her breath
And I'm
was
just kinda
rapid,
pushing her
and it just
around.
expelled the baby from within her. Eons passed as we waited for the cry. The buzz of fluorescent light bulbs overhead rattled the room. The indistinguishable scent of sterilization masked the scent of birth like a fishing net. No, it's a brutal word. The scent of birth. Ugh.
Yeah, I was to say the language he's using is very flowery. Like everything
Yeah,
used to be
yeah.
this kind of thing. But yeah, it's funny to do the same thing with like pussy juice and blood for the smell of birth. It's like caught it like a fishing net. What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
You know, I saw someone made like a highlight reel of us, and they titled it "Christian Appalachian Boy and Godless Midwestern Man, the podcast." And I feel like
That's funny.
that becomes more true every day.
I want to find ban that guy from ever reviewing this show again. Is what I say.
The cry was not as expected. It was merely a hic, a gasp, choking. I caught a glimpse of the baby before the nurses rushed him out of the room. His spine bent as if a string yanked the back of his head to his heels. His torso, is that funny, Hunter?
It's like a weird Chinese finger trap baby. Pull out.
I
Well,
like
that's
the
not
bud
right.
structure.
That's what the
Even
doctors
on the
are-
lower buds,
if I was
they're
the
like
doctor
pretty dense.
delivering it, well, that's not right. The first thing I said. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Guys.
Said I'll watch videos on my TV. I like live with the phone. The phone. Easier to comment with the phone. Yeah, that's for sure.
Just insane, like a child with a birth defect. Quote,
I couldn't
Chinese
imagine
finger
like
trap.
clicking the button every single time to get to a new letter.
Man,
Definitely
it kinda
be
makes
easier to
sense,
watch
right?
on
When
the
you have to
phone.
push it together, it's like a
And that actually helps too, because then you're technically
Yeah.
watching
processed
double
it.
unless you're like
It was the choice.
unless
of
you have your
words.
phone
I'm not
hooked
doing
up
right.
to
I am not doing right
your
by
TV
the
and you're just using the
community with
keyboard.
this episode so far.
No.
Kids
no.
broke all the
I
tablets. Oh no,
apologize
that's
for that. I
fucking
apologize.
garbage.
I have his address.
Kids
if
can be
anyone wants it.
bastards
I'll
for
sell it
sure.
$14.
That is so cheap.
I know. Yep, it's to send a message.
Fucking love them though.
His torso was a stump compared to the ski pole limbs attached, and the eyes.
Don't know what I would do
bulging
without
from
my
the
kid.
skull. They clung to their sockets like balloons inflated in a roll of duct tape.
Ollie and Anna seem so perfect. And what people didn't know.
If
is
money
she
wasn't
was
an
screaming
object,
for-
I would get a bowl trimmer. Definitely. Unfortunately, I am balling on a budget, my guy.
Was that his name?
It's not funny.
Do you remember Brian Peppers? Does that not sound like the image of him?
I remember Brian Peppers, yeah. But when I read that, just because of how like the language was kind of literal for a while.
One of the most tragic decisions as a stoner. Not that it affects me that much, personally, because it's not something I like need to survive. If I like just don't have weed at home and I don't have edibles or I don't have any flour or anything like that on a regular basis, I just don't have weed. The only time I bought weed is when my brother comes over every other week and we get like cheap pre-rolls, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, it's the edibles I have left over from a long time ago or just not smoking. So it's going to be nice to re-up for sure and finally have homegrown, because I've just been not getting high super often, which is fine. I've been all right. Save up till April. They do 420 deals. Maybe if it's in the budget. If I save up my fun money.
Very figurative. So I imagine like there's literally two balloons taped to the kid's head.
His torso
like,
was a stump.
Like the doctor turned around and was like, "Ta-da!" And he like made a balloon.
Might be
animal
able to
on his
make that
head.
work.
Yeah, let me tell you, he should not look like this.
Yeah. Like, oh, how'd that happen? He's like hurriedly tying up like a poodle balloon animal behind him.
Yeah, big clown nose. Tying it up. What do you think of that? It's a sword.
That would be you as a doctor.
Yeah, I know. Looks like a Tommy gun, balloon gun here, huh? Just kidding. Your kid's dead.
The doctors said they had never seen a disorder like this. Months of ultrasounds and blood work showing a healthy boy, only for this to be the result. It was as if he mutated.
I have amputation pain, so if I start running low on THC in my blood, oh my goodness, you start hurting a lot. Yeah, that makes sense. I do use it medicinally, but fortunately, my problems aren't like the worst to deal with, and like I can manage my pain or just deal with my pain because I have a decent pain tolerance. But a lot of it is just me wanting it. You know what I mean? I don't have anything serious like scoliosis or amputations or like I wasn't in a serious car crash or anything. Like I just have chronic pain from existing, which is a very different kind of pain. Try to top less also. It makes for better buds and less to trim. So I didn't top. And also, well, I topped on one plant. I take that back. I did do the 3 topping methods, but that was only for one of the phenos. But the reason I have so much to trim is because I'm getting large yields. And also, these genetics just happen to be super leafy. But the buds are pretty dense, and the bud to leaf ratio is not the worst I've ever seen for sure. The Uncle Ben method, just 4 sticks to trim it super easy. Yeah, I'm sure it's super easy. But I like getting a lot of production and making a lot of tops. That's my game. I might try the Uncle Ben method on some plants, but I also, this next grow for the indoor for the breeding run, I'm just going to let the plants grow in their classic Christmas tree shape, and I'll save a lot of space. I'm just going to be doing a breeding run in here, so it's going to be super low maintenance. I want to see what the genetics do on their own and stuff like that, so I'm not going to have as much trimming to do on that one. Think about this indoors though. Outdoors are sure top a ton, but indoors you like the same airflow. That can be true for sure. Glad you have the privilege to smoke every day. Unfortunately, I do not, but hey, that's also all right. Making a mess of a bush, hard to air. Yeah, it would have been though. It would have been anyway because of how this genetic just is. He grew it to be, I imagine it was a super stout thing. These plants grew laterally, extremely slow, and naturally they grew into a pretty decent bush. I had to do very minimal training on this plant, and it just absolutely shot stuff out. So this one particularly, it's a lot of the genetics. Like, sure, I did some training. I had a trellis net on it. I had to do a fuck ton of defoliation because it just loves pushing out that vegetative growth. But I've also had less dense plants that have had a better time. It's just a genetic thing. And the choice behind growing it indoors, this is the only environment I have to grow in right now. Outdoors is not currently an option because it's single-digit weather and snow outside, and plants don't really like that.
Lane and I were not the same. We talked less and less as every breath now needed to be spent on keeping it alive a little longer. The baby continued to breathe and feed, although through a tube. She loved the baby. She devoted everything she had to it, and I was in disbelief. I hoped to wake up from the nightmare that became of us. That the pregnancy doctors we talked to were right, and a healthy baby was still on the way. Elaine didn't return to the hospital for work even after the maternity leave expired. I stopped taking contracts for video work for a year. The offers completely dried up in that time. That was until I received an email with the to the point header, documentary requested. Documentary work has always been an interest of mine. Since weddings and advertisements are mostly shot at the mercy of the client, I was more than interested in being the driver for a project. We are an independent church based an hour from Pleasant View, West Virginia. our festival, I imagine Pleasant View, that may be a real
But
place.
yeah,
but
airflow was
Pleasant,
definitely a
West
problem.
Virginia is the
So
place
you're not
where
wrong there.
Mothman's from
But
and stuff like that, so it could be a fun reference.
this jar is looking pretty full. We do have quite a bit
With
more
the
to trim,
sauna,
so I
AI
think I'm going
teammates
to be
can help
looking
level up your
for
goals by
a
connecting
bigger
them to
jar.
relevant projects. So
Our festival is coming in a few days.
because I think this pheno could fit in all one jar. We are off. Good luck with the trimming. Hey, I was happy to have you here, man. Definitely great hanging out and chatting with the audience for sure. I hope you have a wonderful day and you get to smoke a little something today. There's a Prego can over there. Or Prego, however you pronounce it. Ugh. But I'm going to close this jar for now. Chill Out OG Pheno number 3, which I need to write on the side of that jar at some point, but I think I'm going to have to get a new one. How long has this stream been going on? Does anyone know? It's been a couple hours. Bro, I ripped a bong a little bit ago, and holy shit, man. I only put the sugar leaves in there, which the trichomes mature faster. I'm having a rough time. The trichomes mature faster, like more rapidly. See you next week, man, if you decide to join us again. I don't know. I think I need to eat something soon. I'm getting pretty nauseous. Holy shit. Let's get some fucking big ass rips and RIPs and L's in the chat. I'm doing rough.
And as this is a once in a lifetime event, we would love to preserve it. All we ask for is 3 nights of your time, and we'll make you feel right at home. If you are interested, we can discuss prices and directions. Money is no issue. We believe our faith will be of particular interest to you, Mr. Dowie. May you have faith, Pastor Madison. I was turned away after reading the email. Why would it be of particular interest to me?
I gotta be honest, I think I gotta abruptly hop off. Man, that one rip really did it to me. I hope everyone has a great day. Dude, that fucking sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. Hope your dog's doing okay now. But I'm not doing super great. I'm going to hop off, go lay down for a minute. I'm sure I will be all right, but I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. We got a ton of trimming of this Chill Out OG done. And next time, hey, maybe I'm going to have to light a joint of it. I'm glad he's doing all right. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. All that good stuff. Thank you for the likes. I'll definitely feel better. I just got to go lay down. I can't be engaged in doing a bunch of stuff right now. I'm feeling definitely faded. That was an irresponsible decision. It didn't seem like that big of a bong rip, but I guess it was a big bong rip. It was huge. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully I'll be able to post some videos this week, but we will see.